puzzle pieces. It's me, and we are back with the part 2 of the final 3 videos of Yuri on Ice. Today we are doing the all anticipated episode 10, and one of my favorite episodes in the entire series besides episode 7. Now with this one, the only part that genuinely matter is the middle and the end credits. But we're going to go through the entire episode and do the actual review of the entire episode. So, here we go. We begin in Barcelona, and throughout this entire episode, Victor is narrating the entire time, which I said in my last video. I loved how it's not just Yuri narrating the entire time. I found that really interesting. And he's in the pool in Barcelona, and it's middle of winter in Barcelona. And he's talking about how Yuri has changed his life, how he is looking for life, and how he's looking for love and whatnot. And soon enough, Chris, one of his old friends, that comes to the pool with a bottle of champagne, and they just end up taking a bunch of selfies and pictures at the pool and do whatever they gotta do and do whatever they want to do. He reflects on the conversation he had with Chris when he was a lot younger and a lot more innocent, and it's sort of him having like this reflection moment, and he's reflecting on his relationship with Chris, and soon that turns into his relationship with Yuri. Just a nice little moment for him to just chill and not be a coach for a minute. From there, we go to Yorio, and he's being checked into his hotel, and he's immediately surrounded by his crazy stalking fans. Now, I believe they're called Yuri's Angels. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called, and I'm 90% sure they're called Yuri's Angels, and they go to every last competition, and they cheer him on, and they're groupies, and I think they're so cute. And then we have freaking JJ and his annoying fiance to call them crazy, and she calls them she basically calls his fans ugly and crazy, and he calls her a bitch, and you'd be better to stay away from JJ, and JJ's annoying, and blah 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 blah. And then we meet Odebek for the first time for longer than 2 seconds, and he doesn't really talk to many of the other skaters, as we've obviously seen throughout the season. They don't really know that much about him. And sort of this is in this kind of scene, he kind of goes through all the top 6 competitors who are competing to be in the top 3 of the Grand Prix. So we got to Yuri, we got to JJ, who is extremely annoying, and no one likes JJ. I wonder why. We have Odebek, who doesn't really talk to anyone, and no one really knows who he is. Pete, it goes off by himself to go take selfies and go take pictures and enjoy Barcelona. And he was going to invite Yuri with him, but Yuri is asleep, because he has jet lag. And soon this kind of brings Victor to talk about how much Yuri has changed him, and how it's mostly his moment to just admire Yuri and just talk about how much Yuri has changed his life. And then Yuri goes on his phone, and when he wakes up from his extra long sleep from being jet lag, and he's scrolling through Instagram, and he sees where everyone is and whatnot. And then he sort of gets like a little depressed, and he kind of asks Victor, "Where are you, even when I need you," and whatnot. And he says it into his pillow. And then right as he says that, Chris and Victor come slamming into the room, and they dogpile on his bed, and Yuri says, "Get off me, I'm not your heating pad, you're freezing." And it was cute. Then the morning, since like it was like midnight, it was like late as hell at night when this was happening, we get into the morning, and everyone is training and practicing for the pre-final. And then after like the morning of training, everyone takes the rest of the day off. Um, Otabek goes on his bike and he just drives off into the sunset by himself. Yorio ends up go as basically trying to avoid his crazy fans. And then this takes him to an alley, and then Otabek finds him and just takes him with him on his riding off into the sunset kind of tease. And news reports were even saying how the Kazakhstanian swept off the Russian prince off his feet and whatnot. And basically the press was doing what we already do, is ship them together. And I don't know what is it Yorka? Is it Yorkia? Is it Yorka for their ship name? I think it's Yorka. Yurika. Yorka. That's how I say it because I'm a horrible speller and I can't pronounce. So we're gonna go with Yorka. And then they're on this balcony and the sun's setting, and it's this kind of cute romantic kind of moment. To me, it's a romantic moment. And then Otabek remembers and tells Yuri, well, actually, since Victor is narrating the entire episode, he's the one to tell us that Otabek and Yuri did meet when they were little kids at Yurkov's skating camp. And Yuri kind of says, we're rivals, like, you shouldn't be wanting to hang out with me, we're rivals, blah, blah, blah. And then Otabek says, I believe he's talked about his eyes, and how he had the eyes of a soldier, and how he liked that about him. And then Otabek asked him to be his friend, and they kind of shake hands being friends. And I feel like this is the first time that Yorio has been asked to be friends. People usually just attach themselves to Yuri, but no one's ever really asked him, hey, can we be friends? People just kind of assume that they're friends, but with Otabek, he asked Yuri's permission to be friends, and they became friends. And much later on, in Welcome to Madness, the show kind of basically makes them canon, but we're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get that in the next video, actually. So then from there, we have JJ with his fiance doing whatever he wants to with his fiance. We have Chris. He's off wherever he wants to be. Peachy's is probably taking more selfies and doing whatever he wants to do. And then we get back into the main premise of this story. And it's back with Victor and Yuri. And they're touring and they go sightseeing. They go shopping. And the fact that Yuri wants to go shopping, to Victor's mind, tells him that he's extremely nervous because he never willingly wants to go shopping. Then we get told later on in the evening, and Yuri has lost a bag of nuts, and it kind of leads him to go look for something. And like Victor says this really cute thing. He has this look in his eyes that he's looking for something, and he will not stop until he finds it. And it's up to me to just look after him and make sure he's okay. I thought that was so sweet. And I got my life. It was so sweet. And then Yuri sees this jewelry shop, and he says, we have to go in here. We have to go in there. We have to go in here. So he goes flying into the store, and he picks out 2 rings, promise rings, engagement rings, and they go in front of, this is a whole engagement, guys. Come on. Let's be realistic. Come on, guys. This is a marriage. This is gonna be like the second time they've talked about marriage. It is a marriage. It's literally a marriage proposal. It is basically Yuri and Victor in front of a church with little kid choir next to them, and they're swapping rings while Yuri calls it a good luck charm. My ass. It is a good luck charm. Those are wedding rings. Get over it. Get over it. And this is basically ships them together more than ever. This is even more fact that we ship them together, besides the kiss, but whatever. Besides hug, censorship, hug, it's a kiss. And then we get to literally the second most important scene in the entire show. We have this dinner, and it's Minako and I'm gonna mess up saying her name. Mindia, I don't know. Yuri's sister and Minako are spying, and they see Otabek and Yuri having dinner. And they're basically shook, and they say Yuri's enjoying the company of another human being, and he's willingly doing it. And the fact how Yuri and Otabed looked at the table, sitting across from each other, they looked like a whole couple. Let's be honest. So then they asked Yuri to basically do them a favor, and basically it's the whole game. It's the whole game minus JJ. Chris, Peachy, they all end up sitting at this big table. Everyone's there except for Chris. I mean, except for JJ. Surprise, surprise. And they basically have dinner, and they kiki, and they have dinner, and they talk. And then Yuri is kind of happy that they're able to have this moment before the competition. And he said he was too shy to mingle last year. And then Victor asked him, "You don't remember what happened last year? You forgot what happened last year." And turns out, Yuri got extremely drunk on champagne, and he basically started dancing with literally everyone and stripping. And Yurio got dragged into a dance-off, and Chris started pole dancing and got naked. And which kind of can relate to why Yurio and Yuri have this beef to begin with, because if I got beaten a dance off in front of everybody, I would be kind of pressed too. Why Chris is all extremely clingy, touchy-feely with Yuri the second they meet. So that explains a lot. And everyone has phone footage of this. The press are not really there, so it never made public news, but all the other skaters know what tea is. So then, while Yuri is trying to make sure that no one watches the video, he kind of shows off the ring. And Peachy immediately calls it a marriage. He gets up and saying, "Everybody, my best friend got married. He's getting married." And I'm thinking, Peachy ships them together just as much, if not more, than we do. I am crying. Peachy ships them just as much as we do. And then everyone thinks it's a marriage. And then Victor says, "You're not completely wrong. It's an engagement ring. And then we're only getting married if he wins the gold medal." And then the second he says that, everyone literally gets back in competition mode. Everyone's being shady. And then we have JJ that comes in with his annoying fiance, and they ruin everything, and blah, blah, blah. And everyone leaves to go home for the night. Then it leads us to this conversation the next morning. We see Yuri asleep in his bed with this ring on his finger. We can clearly see it. And your Victor is at the ocean. He's looking at the ocean and listening to the birds and whatnot, just like he did back in Hisetsu. And Yorio basically saying the old Victor is dead. When I beat Yuri, that ring is going to mean nothing, and blah, blah, blah. And then Victor, for the first time, becomes extremely alpha and aggressive. It's not even full on aggressive. It's very passive aggressive. He taunts Yorio and says, "Did you want to compete against me?" He kind of holds him by his face and kind of smushes his face together. So he becomes very sort of passive aggressive. And Yuri makes the comment saying, "Not everyone looks up to you as a skater." Yuri promises that he's going to win the Grand Prix, and the ring is going to mean nothing, and blah, blah, blah. Just basically knocking Yuri and Victor down a peg. And Victor knows that he kind of takes this moment to reflect and say that if I didn't leave when I did, things would have been different. I would not. Yurio would not have been this compassionate to win, and I wouldn't be this compassionate to win either. So, and I wouldn't have known what love is. So it's kind of this moment that Victor has eternally, thinking all of these things. So then from there we get to the arena of the Grand Prix, and we have this really cool moment where all of the skaters are walking in from the back doors and inside or whatever. I don't know where it is. I'm kind of getting alley tees, and it's all the skaters and their coaches, and they're walking into the arena, and the battle of the Grand Prix has started. And Normally, I would say that's the end of the episode. That's it, guys. But there's more tea. At the end of the episode, we have the credits. And you think, oh, they're going to be boring credits. No. This is the footage on everyone's phone of what happened at the banquet. And I like how we can kind of tell whose phone is which because with Victor's phone, it's a picture of Maka-chan on the home screen. I think with Chris's phone, isn't it a picture of himself? And we literally go through everyone's phone and we see the pictures and the footage and whatnot. With Chris's phone, the home screen is Chris and Victor at last year's competition. And we see this dance battle, Yuri and Yurio, that both Yuris engage in. We go to whose phone? I'm watching it on my phone as we speak. And it's the end port that's the kicker. We go to this other footage of basically Chris and Yuri strip teasing. They're stripping. It's like a free for all. Like, I'm gonna like show it to you guys. I'm not gonna have the volume on so I don't get copyrighted because that's not cute. We see pictures of Yuri and Chris. They're stripping and pouring champagne on each other. That explains how all immediately Chris was all touchy-feely with Chris the first time they met, even though it wasn't the first time. They were stripping, as you can obviously see on your screen. And then we get to, and then this also explains why Miguel, is his name Michael or me? Mikey and Michael wanted to keep Sarah as far away from Yuri as possible because he kind of considered him to be a pervert because he's basically stripping, pouring champagne, intoxicated, drunk. So he wanted to keep her as far away from him as he can possibly put her. That explains why he's extremely overprotective and why he literally wants Sarah to have nothing to do with him. Victor and Yuri engage in this kind of dance battle, and they dance together, and it's so cute. This right here is just so cute, and I got my life. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we get the kicker. This is the kicker, man. Buckle up, man. This is the kicker. And after we see all this phone footage, right? We have basically Yuri. He's still intoxicated. He's still highly drunk. He's basically humping and grinding on Victor with his tie wrapped around his head, drunk as hell. And then he asked Victor, saying, if I win this dance competition, will you be... He basically tells Victor that my family has a hot springs in Hasetsu. You should come see me when season is over. And he basically says, if I win this dance battle, will you be my coach? And I'm thinking, I had to replay this so many times, because I'm thinking, I was shook. I didn't know how to feel about this. I did not know how to feel about this. Like, look. I can't do this. I can't. And this is why I'm going to, and this is going to be the rest of the video. So, buckle up and get you some juice. He asked Victor to be his coach. This is where we play connect the dots. This is how Victor knew to go to Hasetsu to find. This is how Victor knew to go to Hasetsu and find Yuri. Because Yuri told him. He told him where he lived. He told him where his family was. That's how he knew. I'm thinking, very first time I watched this, I'm thinking, how the hell does Victor know where this man lives? I'm thinking, there's no way. And I'm thinking this explains. Hold on, give me a minute. Because I was shook. I'm thinking, how does that happen? How do you deal with that psychologically? Like, you're drunk as hell and you ask your idol to be your coach. And then when he comes to be your coach, you don't remember. That's why Victor was all immediately touchy-feely like Chris was. Because they were dancing and he was grinding on Victor. I was I was shaking. And I'm thinking, there's no evidence in this series that Victor told Yuri what happened at that banquet. Because he was so intoxicated, he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. And to me, that's the most heartbreaking thing about all of this. He doesn't remember. Because he said his dad had a similar case where he got too drunk. He doesn't remember what happens. I'm thinking, how the hell does this happen? Like, I get how it happened, but like, I could not imagine me getting so drunk that I asked Shonda Rhimes to be my mentor. And when she sees a script of something I wrote, she comes to become my mentor. I wouldn't. How do you process what happened? And throughout this entire series, there's nothing that indicates that no one told Yuri what happened until this episode. So were to do a movie or if they were to do a season 2, they got to address this. I mean, like, they don't have to address it, but it would be interesting because Yuri's greatest fear was that Victor is using him as a way to get out of the skating business and basically feels sorry for him and feels pity for him. But he doesn't remember that he asked him when he was at his most vulnerable and most pitiful. I was shaking. I'm thinking this was the moment where these creators had me. Like, let me look the names of these creators because I promise you, they did it. They did it. What do you want me to say? This is the most creative. This is literally the most. I've never felt like this when it came to, like, I've never in anime history. And this is my first anime? No, ma'am. I believe I'm gonna completely mess up this name. I'm gonna mess up all these names. I'm just saying. Directed by Sayo Yamamoto. Wait, Yamamoto. Then we have Metshoro Kabu and Tadashi Matsu. Matsu. Here we go. Get into it. So basically, yeah, those are basically the sort of like the creators and like the directors. And I'm thinking, this is my first anime, and I've said this from the beginning. My very first anime. I've never experienced this. Even when it came to like TV shows, I can't remember a TV show where this has happened, and it's done tastefully. This is a tasteful way of The Hangover, where you wake up. This is the moment you're drunk as hell, you don't remember what happened, and I love how they tell this story backwards because they could have taken it from the banquet and just told the story from there, but they go all the way after the banquet, and we have all these questions, and then they tell us right at when we get to the season finale. I got my life. These creators, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what to do. What do I say to this? What do I say to this? This is the most tasteful way to do a night I don't remember ever. This is so tasteful. It is creative. It is tasteful. Sorry. It's so tasteful. It is tastefully done. It's creative. I cannot remember a story that's like this. I can't do it. I can't. And like, Victor's face. Look at his face. He's in shock. And then when we go to him in the first episode, watching Yuri skate, stay close to me, that face he had, it wasn't one of like shade or whatever, of like an angry face. It is him saying, I read, and Victor and Yurio said, Victor said out of his own mouth that he cannot remember things. He has a thing where he doesn't remember. I bet $1 million he doesn't even remember. I bet $1 million that Victor doesn't even remember this being asked until he watched the video where Yuri is skating his program. That has to be it. Because from the beginning, from the jump, we know that Victor has sort of like a memory problem where he promised to do stuff, but he doesn't remember. And the thing is, though, we don't even get this answer. The show's so freaking shady, we don't even get this answer. We don't even get an answer to what Victor said. The show shows these creators are shady. We don't even get an answer. We don't know how Victor answered. We don't know what happened after this scene. We get nothing. How do I was thinking, how the hell do I recover from this? Because it made me go back and watch the entire series again. From that after I finished the series, I went back and I watched it. And so many things made sense. Why Michael wanted Sarah as far away from him as humanly possible. Why Victor was immediately touchy-feely. Why Chris was so touchy-feely. Why everyone did not take Victor being a coach seriously. For crying out loud, why Yurio didn't wanted him to retire so much. Because he was pressed about losing this dance off. He was pressed, sis. He was pressed. And I'm thinking if we are to get a season 2, which I don't know for 100%. Let me look this up right now. I do not know for 100% back. See, I'm so stressed. My ponytail coming undone. I do not know for 100% fact if we are getting a season 2. I hope to God that we do. Hold on. Please don't break on me again. How I do the must-see one. Because if we get a season 2, they have to address this, right? Like, we have to address this. We have to address this, sis. We have to address this. So what? Are we not going to address this? Are we just not going to address this like ever? I hope we are. We need this address. I feel like for Victor's sanity, I feel like for Yuri's better comprehension, this has to be addressed. And I feel, and like part of me knows and feels like, I feel like if this was to be addressed in the show, if this was to be addressed in the show, if this was to be addressed in the show, I feel like this would hurt Yuri. Because everything he had about how Victor found him would be just shattered. His whole illusion would just be destroyed. He would question everything. Hold on, let me look up this tea. Let me get the tea. I don't know. I just don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do about this. I just don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This was the moment the show had me thrown for a loop. I literally had to go back and watch the entire series from the beginning. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I just don't. Because, like, I don't know. This was the moment where this was it for me. This was it, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This was the moment that the show did it. They did it. And it literally shows the progression. And if you go back and watch it from the beginning, we see how really deep in depression Yuri was because he was depressed. He was drinking. He got drunk. He didn't want to be there. And it shows how far he's progressed up to this point. So I feel like because I looked it up and like they announced a film. Don't know how true this is. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But I'm saying like if the series was to continue with a season 2, I feel like they could come back to this and they could try and get how Yuri's brain could process this. How do you process being told that while you were drunk as hell, you asked your idol, the man you are in love with, to be your coach? How do you process this? How do you process this? And in the episode, we don't even see Yuri watch the video. Don't even watch and don't look at any of the pictures. Don't look at any of the footage. Nothing. I feel like this should have to be addressed. This would have to be. This would have to be addressed if we were to get a season 2. If we were to get a season 2, I would hope this would be addressed. I would hope this would have to be addressed because there's no way they could continue. I mean, they could if they didn't want to address it, they could do it. But like, I feel like for the fans, I feel like it would be important to see how Yuri processed this. I would love to see that process. I'm pretty sure there's a fanfic about this, about Yuri processing what would happen if if Victor or someone told him what happened the night at the banquet. That would be an amazing fanfic read. It'd be amazing, right? $5. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna see if it exists. If it don't, dibs, dibs. This is why this is one of my favorite episodes because this is why this is one of my favorite episodes in the entire season. Because so we connect so many dots. We play connect the dots. And I love it. I love it so much. This is one of my favorite episodes in the entire series. One of my favorites. I just don't know. I'm so happy. This was one of my favorite episodes. This is one of my favorite. One of my favorites. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You gotta high five the like button first, and you gotta leave a comment down below of what you thought about this episode. And is it your favorite episode? If it's not, tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't forget to knock the rock with the subscribe button. And make sure the notification bell is clicked so you all can see each time that I post a video. So the last video for Yuri on Ice is episode 11, 12, and Welcome to Madness. That's the last video. So while this is being uploaded, I'm going to get all my notes together. We're going to film it, and it's going to be great. And we will, we as a puzzle pieces, my little 10, 11 puzzle pieces, will officially be done with Yuri on Ice as a series. Woohoo! Yes, my first series will be done. So right after we finish Yuri on Ice, we're going to jump right on in the Voltron because I have not done a Voltron video in a cute minute. Well, I haven't done a Voltron video in like weeks, months, man. So we're going to do Voltron. We're going to get back on the Voltron train. And then I want to say Monday, maybe Tuesday. Okay, is it going to be Sunday or it might be today? that I'm gonna do my Shadowhunters video. Not entirely sure, but I will see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching Puzzle Pieces. I love you so much. I love you guys so much. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side, Puzzle Pieces. Peace out. Love you guys. Have a creative day or evening. Goodbye.